Welcome back to This is Futbol. Hot takes, big vibes, zero filters. Before we do our thing, don't forget to like and subscribe and smash the bell so you never miss a drop. With me, the tactician that I always argue with, Nico Bravo. Nico, how are we feeling? Are we locked in or what?
What up, Danny? Locked in as usual. What a week, man. What a week it's been. Ready to go.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Let's set the table for tonight. First up, we have a heavy segment. Jordi Alba suddenly retires. Is Suárez next? And does Messi still re-sign with Miami now that his close circle is slowly leaving? We're going to unpack all three together in the first segment, and then we're going to pivot with the international break. Is it a good or bad thing that Messi and De Paul are with the national team this weekend? And is Inter Miami risking their playoff position by allowing these players to go represent their national team? And then we're going to close off with a little bit of Inter Miami playoff outlook, some matchups that we like, some red flags we don't, and a little bit of what Inter Miami's ceiling in the playoffs look like. Are you ready, Nico?
Ready to go.
Let's do this, baby. All right, let's jump right in. First, Boosie, now Jordi. Out of nowhere, right? At the end of the season and for personal reasons, what does that do to Miami's left side and what does it signal for the rest of the Barca crew? Let me tell you, Nico, in my opinion, Jordi Alba's retirement is a good and bad thing for Inter Miami, right? The bad part, you're losing a very big piece in the attack and probably one of your smartest players out on the pitch. Alba's first pass under pressure, his timing with Messi and his cutbacks, those aren't plug and play. Those are a natural thing of many years of playing. The good, it's also a moment of honesty, right? You're basically telling the fan base that this part of the project didn't work the way that you had hoped. And the door now opens to a younger, faster Winter. So now, what do you think, Nico? What do you think with this Jordi Alba retirement?
Yeah, well, first of all, the news came as a shock to me, honestly. He had just signed an extension until 2027. Everyone was, people had their opinions on whether they liked it or not. I personally think that out of all of Messi's friends, per se, he was the one that contributed the most to the team. So I was okay with him signing on to 2027. But honestly, man, this is a shocker to me. This is a shocker because not only does he retire and leave a gap on that side, this is a shocker to me going forward. What's going to happen next? Is Messi really going to sign? That's
Well,
the big question right now.
well, there was reports today from the Miami Herald saying that Messi is going to finalize his multi-million-dollar, multi-year
Right.
agreement. But
Multi-year, but now this changes everything because multi-year means 2 or more years, right? So I don't know if Messi's gonna sign two more years, man. I honestly don't see that. He's the type of guy that he wants to have his people around him, and by only having Suarez and De Paul around him, man, I don't know. I don't see it.
yeah, but maybe this opens the door for them to go and bring maybe a Lautaro
Like
Martinez.
like who? No, like what? Like Reguilon? What reports are coming out right now?
Right,
I don't
right.
think that's enough.
Those are the
That's not.
reports.
Yeah, that's not enough to keep Messi happy. If I'm honest with you,
Well, he's not part of Messi's crew either, right? Reguilon was a player
absolutely
that
not.
played for Real Madrid, played for Tottenham. He's not somebody who's familiar with Messi and his inner circle. So
Correct.
obviously, it's a shocker that the news comes out of the possible Reguilon signing late
Something.
last week, and then now with Jordi
And let
Alba.
me tell you, with the Jordi thing, something must have happened. I don't think you make changes this drastic, having signed less than a month ago an extension for what, 2 more years, 2.5 more years. It's very odd. These are very odd things.
I agree. I agree. But the question is Suarez next, right? We've all heard him say it 100 times. He wants to retire with Messi, and I get it, right? It's all storybook type stuff. But if we're being honest, I think he's done enough, right? He's got the goals, he's got the titles, the golden boots, the nights that broke rivals and lit stadiums on fire. For him, there's nothing left to prove. And for me, I think this year was a reality check for Suarez. Flashes of some
Yeah.
kind of class. He had some near post runs, But long stretches where the body was just asking for a timeout. And that's not a knock on him. That's just life, right? That's just life catching up to you. And in my opinion, and with all due respect, I'd ask that he hang up the boots, Nico, because I don't think that he can continue going at the same pace that he had been going for the last 15, 16, 17 years of his career. And I think he has nothing left to show. And I think it is time for Suarez to hang up the boots and for Inter Miami to absolutely blow this thing up and really put a true supporting cast around Messi that can help him win the coveted MLS title that he once won.
Yeah, and we don't know if they're going to be able to, reach those goals this year because yes, they're in playoffs. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they do it for Sergio and they do it for Jordi. Like going forward, the team gels together, they unify, and they say, okay, this is what we're going to do for these guys. But going back to Suarez, you can see that this year he's running on empty. That tank is running on empty. The legs are not giving anymore, and those are type of things that you don't want to as a player you don't want to um um come to that conclusion and say, okay, I have to hang them up. You sometimes you want to hang them up at the right time. Unfortunately, I don't think that Suarez is hanging up at the right time. He should have hung up the boots prior to coming to Inter Miami, on a higher note, after Gremio. But it is what it is for him. He wanted to come and play with Messi one more time. Results haven't been there. They haven't produced results as far as titles goes. But maybe they end it with an MLS Cup this year.
We'll see, man. But honestly, I think Messi resigns. I think he's settled. I think his family is comfortable in Miami. He knows the
I don't
city.
know, dude.
I
I don't
I,
know,
I think,
man.
and look,
Th-
I have
these Jordi news to me are massive, dude. These are massive news right now.
Look, I think, and I have it from a source that Miami is really going to spend this summer to try to bring in a better supporting cast. And again, I think with the World Cup coming in 2026, and everybody knows that Messi is eyeing a return to the World Cup to defend Argentina's 2022 championship. I think Messi doesn't have a choice but to renew at least for one more season with
Yeah,
Inter Miami
yeah.
and
I
open
can see
Miami
that
Freedom
happening.
Park.
I can definitely see that happening. If it was me, if you want my honest opinion, I will lean towards Messi, probably getting one more year, giving it one more year here. However, the reports coming out saying that it's a multi-year, I just don't see it, man. I don't think Messi has that drive in him anymore to say, okay, I want to do this for two or more seasons.
Well, there you have it. Nico says definitely one season, probably not multi-year, but the question's for you guys. What do you think? Is he staying? Talking about Messi? Is he not? Drop your answer, drop your comments in the little comment section. And while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Up next, the international break is here, and Messi and De Paul are off with Argentina while Inter Miami host Atlanta this weekend, a game that matters for playoff seeding, Nico. So is it smart for the players and the club to go on national team duty right now? Or should the focus be 100% on Miami? Let's break it down in the next segment. All right, with Messi and De Paul away on international duty, is this really the smartest move with the playoffs around the corner and Atlanta coming to Fort Lauderdale this weekend to play Inter Miami? It's going to affect the playoff seedings. Do you think that the minutes are worth the rhythm, or is the risk too high right now, Nico?
I can see both sides. And here's why I can see both sides. I can see the side of, having to represent your country, being on the national team. You always want to, every time you get a call up, you always want to be there and support the group, especially when you are the world champion and the reigning Copa America champion. But I just don't get Messi and the ball having to go and play these meaningless games against Venezuela and Puerto Rico, when they have an important game against Atlanta and Nashville coming up, which could mean whether they to stay on third spot or move up to a second spot for the playoffs, or even go low as a fifth spot. So it's huge. It's huge proceedings, man.
Absolutely, and I couldn't agree with you more on the negative part. Right? I don't think they should have gone. To be honest with you, I think just like you mentioned, these are meaningless games. They're playing a Venezuela team that is not in the World Cup. They're playing a Puerto Rico team that I don't even know that they can field a team. Actually, I know somebody who used to play for the Puerto Rican national team. Funny enough, I coached him when he played high school soccer. But they shouldn't have gone. Right? Inter Miami, just like you mentioned,
No,
are in a playoff seeding battle with a big game this weekend against an Atlanta team that had an upset last week over on the West Coast, if I'm not mistaken. And look, it's a big game because Atlanta is nowhere near the playoffs. They're playing, Mr. Upset right now, trying to upset all
right.
the other teams that are in the playoffs and make it uncomfortable for them. So right now, the priority for me was simple, right? They needed to play for Inter Miami and this weekend and lock in the highest seeding possible. To me, points are greater than friendlies for right now in the season. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, I also understand where you're coming, Nico, because with the other side, because Messi has obligations. He's the captain of the world champions.
And they
So I
sold,
understand why he needs
and
to be there.
we also got to see the marketing side of things. Argentina national team, they sold tickets to these games, with the expectation that Messi's going to be there. I wouldn't think that they will sell the same way if fans knew that Messi wasn't going to play. That's a reality. Which, by the way, Argentina's second game against Puerto Rico, it's not going to be played in Chicago. It's going to be played at Chase Stadium. So Argentina will be playing at Chase Stadium against Venezuela this Friday, and they will play next Tuesday, I believe, in the same stadium against Puerto Rico.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Big news right there with that. I did not know. I mean, I was expecting a full Soldier Field to watch Messi play against the Puerto Rican national team, but it looks like it'll be a full Chase Stadium because we know that
Messi stays home.
Messi stays home, and that's important as well because with the playoffs coming around the corner, it's important for Messi to be able to stay in his house and get rest
So,
and not
so
have to do that travel, right?
right. Technically, what we get now is like a bye week for Messi and De Paul when they're not facing Atlanta this Saturday. So that's what they're getting primarily because they're literally training with Argentina in Inter Miami grounds. So
I wonder if they're pulling double duty and practicing with Argentina in the morning and maybe with Inter Miami in the afternoon, or
I'm
maybe
good question. Good question.
I also wonder if Macherano is talking to some of the Argentinian players to see if maybe they're interested in joining the team next year with with the team.
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't put it past it, man. Honestly, that would be a good strategy.
I'm telling you, I mentioned it in the last segment. I really think a player who would fit in with Inter Miami is Lautaro Martinez. He's been in
No, but
Europe
he's too
for a
young,
long.
man.
You
He's
think
too
so?
young.
Isn't
Yeah,
he?
bro.
Isn't
He's
he?
25 years old. No, he's like 25, 26, man. He's too young to be coming to Inter Miami.
Oh well, I don't know, man.
Let me do my
You never
let
know.
me do my research right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, while you're doing your research, I want to talk a little bit more about the calendar, the international calendar weekend coming up. A lot of weird friendlies going on. Uruguay is in Malaysia playing
He's
against.
28, by the way. He's
He's
28.
28. Yeah,
So
so
yeah, no, he still has some years left in Europe. Don't try to bring that
absolutely,
guy.
absolutely.
Yeah, no. Yeah, maybe somebody like Otamendi. I don't know. Who knows?
Hey, I saw a picture this morning of Dibu Martinez with Messi and De Paul.
Yeah, yeah. Otamendi will be a nice guy to have here too.
Hey, I wouldn't mind Otamendi
Mm.
with a Maxi Falcon pairing. That would be a lot of
Oh my God, that would be a lot of noise in the back. A
respect.
lot of noise from cracking people's legs.
Absolutely. All right, Nico. Enough of the calendar drama and the Messi and the Paul with Argentina. Now let's talk about the run, right? Inter Miami's playoff preview starts here. If the seeding holds, does Miami get a runaway to the cup or a complicated matchup in round one? We're going to take a look at all that next. Who do you want in a first round series? And who do you absolutely want to avoid? Write your comments down below. Let's head to the next segment. All right, playoff mode, Nico. We're not going to draw the blueprint tonight, but
Hey,
we're going to talk seeding and possible matchups. Let me put up the MLS standings so that we can see where Inter Miami currently sits in the standings. And you can see right there in the Eastern Conference standings, Inter Miami is in third with 59 points. They have 2 games remaining, one against Atlanta, as we spoke about earlier, who is eliminated. The second against a direct rival in Nashville, somebody who we could possibly face in the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. If we stay third, I think that will be it, right? I
Yeah,
mean, unless
if the playoffs were to start today, as the seeding is, Inter Miami would be facing Nashville, and honestly, I wouldn't mind that.
yeah, Nashville has been an up and down team.
They have been. They have been. You know, the teams that personally that I would like to stay away from in the first round are Charlotte and Orlando. I think if Inter Miami finishes second, Orlando finishes seventh, they would face each other a clásico in the first round. A team
As you can see there, though, Orlando has a game where they can possibly win and go ahead of Nashville. So that will be good as well. Unless
absolutely
Miami, unless Miami stays on that third spot, which will mean they don't win this weekend coming up, and obviously against Nashville as well. So
right. Right. That's correct. If they win both games, they would reach the second place spot. If they lose both games, like you said earlier, they have the possibility of losing out to a home game in the first round and playing in away in the first matchup by finishing fifth. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be a tough draw no matter who they draw in round one. It's gonna be a fight, right? This
yeah,
team has been up and down all season. They've been brilliant one
and
week.
that's a worrying part. That's a worrying part because usually everyone talks on crunch time when you're getting to playoffs. Everyone talks about the same thing, which is heating up prior to playoffs, like 4 or 5 games prior to that. Miami, you would expect that Miami would have found form by now, with two games remaining, and that hasn't been the case. They won last week, they dominated the game, but they were coming off defeats that were very very shaky. So it's an unfortunate situation. I understand also the injuries aspects of things and resting players having to play every 3 days. It's not easy. So managing that is very very important as well. But you want that team to go in red hot into the playoffs, and for it not to for what happened last year not to happen again. Like we don't want to go and face. Thankfully, this time, do we have to face 3 times? Do we have to face a team 3 times? Yes.
Three
First round,
times.
you have to face a team 3 times. So hopefully this year we don't have to do that. Hopefully this year we take care of business. You know, the first game away from home, and then bring it at home and do the rest.
Absolutely, absolutely. Unfortunately, as we all recall, last year Inter Miami was eliminated by Atlanta in the first round of the playoffs. A team who made it in as a wild card team, and then beat Inter
Painful.
Miami, the number one overall seed. Yeah, absolutely painful. And that's why I don't want to face Charlotte, Nico, because Charlotte is a team that
They're
has
red hot. They're red hot.
not only
Even though
that,
they
but they
lost
have
last
a
weekend,
great goal.
they're coming hard.
Yeah, and they have a great goalkeeper, a shot stopper, somebody who can, stop all those all of our
One
shots.
of the
And
best goalies in the league.
Kalina, absolutely, absolutely, and of course Drake Callender backing him up over there. It would be bittersweet. But I don't, like
Yeah,
I said,
I
I
think
don't want to face Orlando. I don't want to face Charlotte. Those are the two
I,
teams I want to
I,
avoid
I,
in the first round.
I do want to say something. I think that our players, for the most part, the veteran players that we have in the team, last year was more of a getting to know the league for them. This playoff format was something new to them. They didn't get what was going on. I feel like this year, I want to believe that this year they're gonna come out more prepared. They're gonna know what's at stake. They're gonna know what they need to do to take care of business, and I think they might be able to make a playoff run.
You want to drop a prediction? You think they're going to win the whole thing, or well, what do you
I
think?
think I think all the way to conference finals. I think Miami could possibly go to conference finals, and then afterwards, anything can happen.
I think honestly, I think Inter Miami could win the whole thing if the table sets it up for them to make it there. I think I agree with what you're saying that the players were getting to know the league last year. I think that when the time comes to really face the tough moments, I think these guys are especially knowing that it's their last season
Yes.
in Jordi and Busi, and knowing that, I think that the team and the is going to rally around them, and I think that this year, Inter Miami will hoist the MLS Cup at the end of the season. But that's it for us today, Nico. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next episode. We'll be back with more Inter Miami and Futbol talk next time. Until then, cuídense y nos vemos.
Out.